One of the things that the Adobe engineers have done in this latest version of Camera Raw that comes with Photoshop CS5 is they've changed the way Camera Raw reads your raw information, because in the end, that's what's really going on. You know, there's some kind of software that's looking at this raw file, it's reading and displaying what it sees a certain way. That's called demosaicing. Part of this whole process is the way that it sharpens and the way that it reduces noise inside of your photo and all these different things. Well, they've changed that inside of CS5. So if you come over here in Camera Raw to the calibration panel, you're going to see two things. You're going to see that it says process 2003. You're also going to see this little exclamation point that appears right down here at the bottom right of the photo. So what these mean is that I have developed, or I have worked on this photo in a previous version of Camera Raw. All right, which is why it says process version is from 2003, because this is really the last time that all this, the math and all the code that really reads this file, that's pretty much the last time that it's been updated. Okay, so if you click in here, you're going to see 2010. You're also going to see that exclamation point. So that's Photoshop's way of telling me this is the old process version. The only reason that I see this old process version, the only reason I see that exclamation point is because I worked on this file in an older version of Camera Raw, and Adobe is not going to force the change on you if you've already worked on something. If this were a brand new raw file, I'd never opened it up in a previous version of Photoshop, then it would read 2010 here. Everything would be good. Okay, but I want to take a quick moment just to kind of show you what's going on behind the scenes here. So let's zoom into a specific area of the photo, and we'll concentrate here on the rocks. And I'm going to go ahead, if I click on the exclamation point, it'll update to the current process version, which is 2010, or I can just click on it here. But keep an eye on the rocks themselves. All right, I'm going to click on it now. And you can kind of see how things snap in a little bit. They're just a tiny bit sharper. And here's the thing. In the video, I understand that it's something that's really difficult to see because it's just the nature of videos and compression and all that. In fact, I'm going to kind of come in here and I'm going to come in and see if I can reduce some of these changes a little bit. And what that might help me do is when I come over here, and let's just zoom in a little bit, because again, I know that these things are tremendously hard to see. Let's change it from 2003. I'm going to go back to 2010. All right, so you should have seen a little bit of a change. It might look like more of a contrast change to you, but believe me, as I sit here and I look at this photo, the noise reduction is better and the sharpening is more crisp. And that's the whole, the big part of this whole process version is you're able, because of this new process version, because of the new way that Camera Raw is now reading your raw files, you're able to take advantage of improved sharpening and improved noise reduction, because these are things that people are touting as new inside of CS5. But if you don't change over to this new process version, you're not going to be able to take advantage of it. So take a look here. When we go into that detail panel, you see all the sliders I get for noise reduction. Well, if I change this back to 2003, you're going to see that some of those sliders are grayed out. Okay, and that's because I'm not able to use these using that old process version. So where do you go from here? Well, for new photos, you don't have to do a thing. Every time you open up a new photo inside of Photoshop CS5, it's going to automatically update to the new process version. You won't have to do a thing. You don't have to worry about it. For your older photos, when you open up the photo, if you see that exclamation point, then just go ahead and click it and it'll update to the newer process version. If you know that you've applied, and this is really the only hitch, if you know that you've applied sharpening and noise reduction, it doesn't change exposure, it doesn't change hue, saturation, anything like that. It's only pretty much sharpening and noise reduction and even a little bit of the vignettes. If you know that you've applied those things to your photos, you might want to just zoom in and double check that those things still look good, which is why Adobe's not forcing it on you, because they don't want to change your photo too drastically if you've already developed it a certain way. So old photos, give it a try. Click that little exclamation point. New photos, you don't have to do a thing. Just be aware of that's what's going on here. If you ever see this process version, you typically don't ever want to go back and change it to something earlier.